Hello there, and welcome to Dirt Road Believer. I'm glad that you are joining me for a week of devotion and another week of giveaway. So, if you're just now joining us, I'm Tina. So glad to have you here at my channel. Thank you for being here. We're in the middle of a giveaway. So, the whole month of November, every week, I am introducing what's in the giveaway. This is our third week, so next week will be our last week, and then our drawing will be on December the 2nd. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some of my favorite things and I'm stuffing a stocking full. It could be for you, it could be for re-gifting at the holidays, whatever you choose. But I will draw on December 2nd and get that mailed out to you. And since I'm mailing it out, you do need to live in the continental United States to be eligible to win this. So each week, here's how you win. You simply comment on this video, either on YouTube or on Facebook, and that comment gets you entered to win. We've got so many already entered to win, and I'm so excited. So I started at the beginning of November. I went from my favorite things in the kitchen to my favorite things in the living room. Today, we're in the bathroom, okay? And next week is going to be kind of a wild card. So here are my favorite things from the bathroom. We're going to start with a toothbrush. Now, what I love about this toothbrush is it has a timer on it. So did you know that you should spend 30 seconds on each quadrant of your mouth? So 30, 30, 30, 30. This tells you when to switch quadrants. It takes the singing the ABCs out of it. It takes all that, and it just does it for you. Love, love, love a timed toothbrush. It's what I use. And then this is something that I thought I lost, but it came back this summer. It is from Bath and Body Works, and it is their True Blue Spa line. And I have dry skin. I have to keep lotioned up every day. So when I get out of the shower every day, this foot lotion, I love it. It's got a little tingly to it. I'm not sure what that ingredient is in there, but it just makes your feet feel wonderful and awake and ready for the day. So those are my two favorite things from the bathroom that I'm giving away this week. And remember, all of the things from all month in November will be given away at one time. I'm going to have them in a beautiful Christmas stocking for you, and they will get to you in time for Christmas. So do what you want with those. But again, this week, we're giving away from the bathroom the timed toothbrush. This is the Sonic toothbrush. It says it has sensitive bristle vibrations, the 2-minute quadrant timer, which is my favorite, and the battery lasts up to 3 months, and then our True Blue Spa foot lotion from Bath and Body Works that I love. All right, let's get into our devotion for today. Today, I am going to give you some thoughts on Ruth and Naomi from the book of Ruth. And if you've been following me in the month of November, you know that I've been taking some biblical stories, principles, and applying them to the do's and don'ts of Thanksgiving. You know, there's a certain expectation when we show up for the holidays that we need to abide by. And Ruth and Naomi do a good job of showing us the do's and the don'ts of Thanksgiving holidays. So I want us to read first about Naomi. And if you know anything about this book, Naomi and Ruth are mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Naomi has lost her husband, her sons, and all she has left are her 2 daughter-in-laws. Naomi is not in her hometown. Her hometown is Bethlehem, but she and her husband left to avoid a famine that was going on when they first got married. So they moved to Moab, and that is where they had their family. Now that her husband is gone, her sons are gone, all the people who would have provided for her, she is now going to move back to Bethlehem to make a fresh start of it. She begins to leave with her 2 daughter-in-laws. They obviously think a lot of her, or they wouldn't have said, let me just leave my whole family behind. But when they started to leave, Naomi says, don't go. Like, she encouraged them to stay and be with their mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers. And one of them said, you know what, I am going to stay. I don't want to leave everybody behind. But Ruth was her daughter-in-law who said, wherever you go, I'll go. Where you die, I'll die. You may remember that famous passage. So now we have Ruth and Naomi, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law, and they are back in the town of Bethlehem. That's where we're going to pick up today. And this is right after Ruth says to her mother-in-law, don't plead with me to abandon you or return and not follow you. For wherever you go, I'll go. And wherever you live, I'll live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me, and ever so severely, if anything but death separates you from me. All right. This is chapter 1 of Ruth, verse 18, and we're going to first look at Naomi. Naomi saw that Ruth was determined to go with her, and so she just stopped talking to her. The two of them traveled until they came to Bethlehem. When they entered Bethlehem, the whole town was excited about their arrival, and the local women exclaimed, can this be Naomi? If you live away from your hometown and you go back, you know that reunion, that feeling of home and all those people who are excited to see you. That's what's happening here. And Naomi replies, don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, she answered. Mara means bitter. For the Almighty has made me bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why do you call me Naomi, since the Lord has opposed me and the Almighty has afflicted me? So Naomi came back from the territory of Moab with her daughter-in-law Ruth, the Moabitess. They arrived in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. All right, so we can see the attitude of Naomi's heart right here, right? She stops talking to Ruth, even though Ruth is the only person by her side. She shows up to a town of people who are so excited to have her back and to welcome her, and she's like, I'm bitter. This is what's happened to me. I went away from this place full. I had a husband. I was going to make a family, and the Lord has sent me back bitter. We also see after this that Naomi sort of isolates herself. She sends Ruth out to do things, but she sort of stays confined. And it's Ruth who goes and comes to take care of Naomi instead of Naomi participating in that. So she is bitter. She's reclusive. She's not even nice to the people who are nice to her and want to help her and welcome her back. All right. We'll come back to that. You can probably guess whether that's a do or don't at the holidays. But now let's look at Ruth's attitude. So Naomi tells Ruth, go out and go to this Boaz guy's field and gather some grain. He'll let you. And so Boaz, who is the boss, he comes into his field of workers, and Boaz asks the servant who is in charge of the harvesters, hey, who is this young woman? He doesn't recognize Ruth. The servant answered, she is the young Moabite woman who returned with Naomi from the territory of Moab. So she is a foreigner among the Israelites. She asked, will you let me gather fallen grain from among the bundles behind the harvesters? She came and has been on her feet since early this morning, except that she rested a little in the shelter. So she's a hard worker, gathering not grain, but what's left behind from the grain, behind the harvesters. Then Boaz said to Ruth, listen, my daughter, don't go and gather grain in another field, and don't leave this one, but stay here close to my female servants. See which field they are harvesting and follow them. Haven't I ordered the young men not to touch you? When you are thirsty, go and drink from the jars the young men have filled. So here Boaz is saying, you'll be safe here. My people are going to look after you. Don't go to anybody else's field. This is a beautiful young woman. And so he's already told the men, you treat her with kindness and compassion. She fell down, bowed to the ground, and said to Boaz, why have I found favor in you so that you notice me, although I'm a foreigner? Boaz answered her, everything you've done for your mother-in-law since your husband's death has been fully reported to me. How you left your father and mother and your native land, and how you came to a people that you didn't previously know. May the Lord reward you for what you have done, and may you receive full reward from the Lord your God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge. My Lord, she said, I have found favor with you, and you have comforted and encouraged your servant, although I'm not like one of your female servants. At mealtime, Boaz told her, come over here and have some bread and dip it in the vinegar sauce. So she sat beside the harvesters, and he offered her roasted grain. She ate and was full and had some left over. All right, let's talk about these two women here. Both, same situation. Both Naomi and Ruth had lost their families, had lost their home. One's attitude was bitterness. One's attitude was humble, seeking favor. Now, we can position ourselves for help and healing and encouragement and favor, or we can lock ourselves off and just be bitter. So the don't, okay, for the holidays is don't be bitter towards people. There were people willing and ready to welcome her back, to welcome both of them and give them the help that they needed. But she was closed off. She says, I went away full, but now I'm just empty. Well, the opposite was true for Ruth. She had the same situation, but she comes to Boaz, who helps her, who encourages her, who supports her, who comforts her. And she says, you know what, I came to you empty, but now I'm full. And not only am I full, but I have left over. And Boaz says something important to Ruth. He says, you've come under the shelter of the Lord God Almighty. You've come under his wings. And when we come under the wings of the Lord God Almighty, in our struggles, in our loss, in our grief, he has a way of comforting us and taking care of us. So, you know, when we get to the holidays, we experience both. And maybe we're the one in this position, but you may have people not even show up to the holidays because they're like Naomi. They're bitter. They've, isolated themselves because of their circumstances. But then you may have other people show up to the holidays in very similar situations, just like these two women, but they choose to be open. They choose to keep going and enjoy others and continue to reach out and connect and try to heal. So I ask you, do you have feelings and emotions about a situation that are displaced? Maybe you're grieving, but you're letting your emotions out on other people like Naomi did. Naomi came to a town. Her circumstances had nothing to do at all with those who welcomed her, who greeted her, who wanted to be part of her life. But yet, she put her negative emotions on them and isolated herself from them and even was ugly to them. And then you have Ruth, who left behind a family, a home that was hers, to be here with Naomi. But instead of a bitter attitude, she looked for a way to be filled. And we can choose one or the other. So the title of this episode today is, Are You Thanksgiving full or empty? And who decides? You decide. And I'm telling you, when you are in connection with the Lord and you're talking to the Lord daily and in the Word, that certainly helps you make the choice to remain in the lives of others, remain engaged and plugged in, because God says over and over and over in his word, get up. I know there are things that knock us down, but we are given a glimpse right here into two women who are going through the same exact thing. One chooses joy, one chooses to be comforted and to find favor in people's eyes, and one chooses just to be bitter and alone. So which are you going to do? Now, I'll give you, if you don't know the book of Ruth, it doesn't end quite this grim, okay? So it's a short book. I encourage you to read it this week. But You decide. Are you Thanksgiving full or Thanksgiving empty? Guys, I hope you have an incredible week. Don't forget, give away. Make sure that you comment so you can be entered to win, and you can be entered to win up to 4 times. Each week I'm introducing new gifts. Comment again and your name will be put in there another time. I'm glad that you joined me today. I hope you're having a great day so far, and I'm going to see you next week. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, slow down. Take the dirt road, believer.